This is probably going to sound very controversial now that we're on this channel here that is all about happiness. But you need to stop worrying about other people's happiness. And maybe this is a worry that you can relate to. Maybe you found yourself in the past worrying about how other people were feeling in that very given moment. Maybe you found yourself so often taking on other people's emotions, trying to make them happy, constantly trying to be of service to them, constantly trying to cater to how they were feeling in that very moment. And if you're feeling like that, then this probably sounds very, very cynical, that we shouldn't be taking care of other people's emotions. But let me ask you, can you know for sure that what you did for them truly made them feel happy? Personally, I've wasted so much time in my life constantly trying to make other people happy, regardless of how they were actually feeling. And back then, I used to convince myself that I was doing a great thing. I used to convince myself that, well, I'm taking care of others, I'm trying to do everything that I can to make everyone happy. Of course, this is a good trait. At the same time, I couldn't help but acknowledge, well, how does it actually feel to me when I am not feeling happy and other people are trying to make me happy? Does that actually make me feel great? Does it make me feel great when someone is incredibly uncomfortable with me not being happy and they're doing everything that they possibly can, to make me feel happy in that very moment? Is that truly what I need in that moment? Are the other person who is trying to make me feel happy, are they actually taking care of the way that I'm feeling? Or are they taking care of their own insecurity? And when I contemplated that, everything changed for me. Because I began realizing in that very moment that what I needed when I wasn't feeling happy was actually not someone, who was coming there and trying to cheer me up and trying to make me feel happy. What I truly needed was simply to be with that emotion. Be with someone who could actually acknowledge the way that I was feeling instead of trying to shove down a certain sensation in my throat, but just being present with me, being there. And so I began realizing that in the past, once again, I've always been so concerned with trying to make everyone feel happy. But I came to realize that in order to truly create happiness for others, I needed to allow them not to be happy all the time. I needed to allow them to go through exactly what they were experiencing in that very moment. I needed to be comfortable in feeling uncomfortable surrounding their emotions and what they were going through. To this day here, I keep caring about the well-being of the people that I'm surrounded by. At the same time, I've also found peace in acknowledging what is actually my responsibility when it comes to others. Would I ever personally want someone else to take responsibility of my happiness? Or do I find that this responsibility here does indeed belong to me? At first, it can seem completely daunting to take full responsibility of my own happiness and not outsourcing it to friends, to family. But on the other hand, it becomes incredibly liberating because now I have the opportunity to take this responsibility here onto myself. I am essentially in charge of creating my own happiness. And although this can seem daunting, at the same time, the freedom that comes along with that is beyond everything. Because now it all comes down to me and my choices. And the day that I began taking full responsibility of my own happiness, something completely shifted. I began realizing that what I had been doing all along, trying to manage other people's emotions, trying to make everyone happy, was actually a disservice. For so long I had convinced myself that what I was doing was a favor to others, but I began noticing that what I was truly doing was trying to change other people's emotions so I got to feel more comfortable. Now that I had taken full responsibility of the way that I was feeling, of my own happiness, I was also able to let go of the responsibility that I felt for others. And not only did it create less stress for me, but I also began noticing that the relationships that I had with others began growing even stronger. I was no longer the person who was constantly trying to make them feel happy. Now I became the person who was there for them when they needed me the most. As I mentioned, I still care about their well-being, but I'm no longer trying to constantly make them feel happy. Instead of asking myself in moments like that when I'm with others, how can I make them happy right now? I began asking myself, what is the greatest love that I can show for this person that I'm with right now? And this answer here changes. So in that very moment, it might be something. On the other day, it might be something different. But being in a place where we can ask ourselves what is the most loving thing we can be doing, by asking ourselves this question, we're no longer responsible of the other person's emotions. We're allowing ourselves to be present with what actually is in that very moment. And not only is it creating less stress for us, but as mentioned, it is also much more healing, much more strengthening for the individual and our relationship. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning, this was going to sound very controversial, so I would love to hear your thoughts, your ideas on this perspective here. Have you had similar sensations where once again you were feeling like you constantly had to make other people happy? Where do you find yourself at this very moment here? And what are some of your challenges going through all of it? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And if you have any questions to what we went through in today's video, never hesitate to reach out to me. Beside that, make sure to subscribe for more daily tips on a happier life. And if you really enjoyed this video here, you're probably also going to like this one as well. Take great care and have an amazing, amazing day.